H.P. Lovecraft was a man of his time, a traditional conservative whose works were deeply rooted in his worldview. His stories, from The Call of Cthulhu to At the Mountains of Madness, explored themes of cosmic horror, the insignificance of humanity, and the fear of the unknown. Lovecraft's writing was a product of his era, and while his personal views are controversial by modern standards, his literary legacy is undeniable. But now it seems like the gaming industry is determined to spit in the face of that legacy. With new Cthulhu games like Cthulhu, The Cosmic Abyss, and The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu, developers are forcing woke DEI agendas into a universe that was never meant to accommodate them. And here's the kicker. These games are all published by Nacon, a company that seems to have a pattern of pushing woke narratives. Meanwhile, The Sinking City 2, which is not published by Nacon, appears to be taking a different, more authentic approach. Today we're diving into how these games are disrespecting Lovecraft's vision, why Nacon might be part of the problem, and why The Sinking City 2 could be the last hope for fans of authentic cosmic horror. Let's start with Cthulhu. The Cosmic Abyss. This game features a black protagonist, which on the surface might seem like a harmless choice. But when you consider the context of Lovecraft's work, it feels like a deliberate attempt to rewrite his legacy. Lovecraft was a man of his time, and his stories reflected his conservative, often controversial views. His works were steeped in a sense of dread and otherness, and while that included racial and cultural elements that are uncomfortable by modern standards, they were integral to his vision. By inserting a black protagonist into a Lovecraftian story, the developers aren't just updating the material, they're fundamentally altering it. It's as if they're saying, "We know better than Lovecraft," and that's a dangerous mindset. Now here's where it gets interesting. Cthulhu. The Cosmic Abyss is published by Nacon, a company that seems to have a track record of pushing woke narratives in their games. And they're not alone. The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu, another Lovecraftian game with potential DEI-driven changes, is also published by Nacon. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you look at the broader trend in the gaming industry, it's hard not to wonder if Nacon is part of a larger agenda. Are they forcing wokeness into these games to appease the globalist elites who control the industry? Are they more interested in ticking DEI boxes than creating authentic, compelling stories? It's speculation, of course, but the pattern is hard to ignore. The backlash to these games has been fierce. Fans of Lovecraft's work are accusing the developers of forcing wokeness into a universe that was never meant to be woke. They're worried that the games will prioritize DEI checkboxes over storytelling, sacrificing the atmosphere and themes that made Lovecraft's work so unique. And honestly, they're not wrong. Cosmic horror is about the unknown, the incomprehensible, and the terrifying. It's not about ticking diversity quotas or pushing modern political agendas. By forcing these elements into the games, the developers risk undermining the very thing that makes Lovecraft's work so compelling. Then there's The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu. This game is based on one of Lovecraft's lesser-known stories, but it's already raising red flags. The original story, The Mound, is a colonial-era tale that explores the horrors of an ancient civilization. It's a story that's deeply rooted in its time, with all the complexities and controversies that come with it. But early previews of the game suggest that it might include DEI-driven changes, such as diverse characters and modern sensibilities. Again, this feels like a betrayal of Lovecraft's vision. The original story wasn't meant to be inclusive or politically correct. It was meant to be unsettling and thought-provoking. By sanitizing it for modern audiences, the developers are stripping away what made it unique. And then there's The Sinking City 2. This game, which is currently being funded on Kickstarter, seems to be taking a different approach. From what we've seen so far, the game features an all-white cast, staying true to the atmosphere and tone of Lovecraft's work. It's a refreshing contrast to the other Cthulhu games in development, and it's proof that you can create a compelling Lovecraftian story without resorting to woke DEI agendas. But here's the kicker. The Sinking City 2 is not published by Nacon. In fact, the developers of The Sinking City famously had a legal dispute with Nacon, which led to them parting ways. Could it be that these developers left Nacon to create a less woke, more authentic game? It's speculation, of course, but the timing is certainly interesting.